everyone, and welcome to another webisode of my story, where I'm telling a fictional version of my story in 30-minute webisodes. So this is a series that hopefully we'll be done with pretty soon so that we can move on. But yes, I'm just telling my story because they overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, and I work with the blood of the Lamb, and so I work with my testimony too, my story, how I figured out my own spiritual relationship. Maybe your story is similar. I would love to hear any similarities that you have to my story. Maybe your story is different. I would also love to hear all the differences. It is so amazing to me how, first of all, multiple humans can have very, very similar stories, and then multiple other humans can have totally different stories and realities. So I just love that. I love learning about humans, always have. So here I am telling my story for the other people that love learning about humans. That way they can see another human viewpoint, because I love to look at all the human viewpoints. Maybe you do too. So anyways, where was I with my story? I was actually getting to the fun parts, but I feel like I need to rewind just a little bit. Oh, look, the little kitty cat wants to come to sleep in the background. Isn't she precious? That's my Slink. Okay, so I have too many cats, y'all. I love cats. They're my favorite. Okay, so where was I with my story? I like I said, I'm getting to the fun parts. But I have to be very careful about how I tell this part of my story. I've put a lot of prayer into what parts of this story can go out there, because it is so important. Spirituality easily gets twisted, misinterpreted, misunderstood. And I'm really, at this part of my life, I'm just going to dive right into spirituality, and I'm not going to look back. And so that could be twisted. It could be misunderstood. And there's certain parts I really feel like in your spiritual journey, there are certain things that happen to you that are personal. They're for you, and they're not for anyone else. Because if you told anyone else, they would misinterpret it, it would get twisted, you would become a stumbling block on their spiritual journey. And I so don't want to become a stumbling block on anybody's spiritual journey. So what I think that is very important from here on out as a viewer, for you to use your own discretion. And if you don't agree with something, that's okay. Know that you're the right one here. You know, this is a fictional false story anyway, so whatever. Discernment is the key. It's what we're learning as humanity, which means we're gonna fail, we're gonna get it wrong, and that's okay too. But you must be developing your discernment faculties, which is understanding the proper context. And I've really prayed, and there's going to be parts of my spiritual journey that I just don't share with you because they were personal, and the risk of misinterpretation and misunderstanding is just too great. So with that being said, I put a lot of prayer, and I look for the answers, and they've got to come. And before I am willing to discuss parts of my story, but still I'm gonna discuss it. I've got to put it out there. I really do. I feel like other people, they overcome with the words of their testimony, and other people are going through similar experiences, and I want them to see it's real. It's really real, because whenever you're going through it and it's just you might be crazy. You might be crazy, but when you see that other people are going through it that have nothing to do with you, they're like completely outside of yourself, and they went through that same thing, well, it becomes a little bit more real. So that's another thing that I think is awesome. So, but Also, before I move on too much into where I'm at in my story, I do feel like I need to rewind. Um, but you know what? I think that I can tie it in because, okay, where I was at in my story, I started Serious Joy and I started my soap shop and put us like $10,000 plus into debt trying to get this soap shop up and running. Meanwhile, I'm having to pay every single weekend to sell my soap, and I'll sell like 1, 2 bars of soap. I'll sell enough to pay the vendor to be allowed to pay to sell soap. So it was not working out well, but I was just getting more controlling and more. And what happened is I lost everyone. Of course, you don't treat people right, you're not going to have them in your life. You've got to treat people right. And just because you think they're not doing it right, it might just be they're not doing it your way, and honestly, I was like, I needed help, and I wanted it to be perfect for the customer, but perfection is just such, and to expect everyone to reach perfection and to try to control them to reach it, yeah, it's wrong. And I deserved losing everyone. And but yeah, my I was diving into self-help and spirituality very much so. I had already gone through the Vicky Howie healing with the chakras, and that was really strange for me because I've always believed that chakras, yoga, um, om chanting, meditation, all these things, they're evil, they're demonic, they allow demons to take over, they are horrible, awful things. And Yeshua, the Yeshua that I know, the Jesus that I know, was kind of leading me towards healing with these modalities. And it was really, really strange for me. But I started with the chakras and the chakra healing, and that was just so transformative for me. And I'm so glad I did. It was shadow work, and it was like embracing the negative aspect of me, no longer trying to be like little Miss Goody Two Shoes, but understanding that I am crazy. I am a little controlling. I am a little manipulative. I mean, I've got negative qualities, guys, and I've got a lot of them. And instead of trying to hide them and push them to the side and letting them come out uncontrollably, this chakra healing, it really helped me go into embracing my negative qualities and understanding their purpose and understanding how I can use them as tools, and I don't need to hide them. I can embrace them. So I can tell you today, I am a controlling, manipulative bitch, and I can be crazy as flunk. So just so you know, I can tell you that, and I don't bat an eye. I am the villain. I can play the villain. I can play the villain very well, and I don't mind playing the villain. The chakra healing helped me go through that, and it's just such the opposite of church and the Christianity in the church, because they teach you that you're evil, but you can overcome evil. Jesus comes and saves you, and now you have to be perfect. And if you catch anybody not being perfect, you get to call them out. You get to, you could actually make sure that everybody, shuns them and puts them out, or you can make fun of them. You could do whatever you want to them once you figure out that they're letting their bad side show. They were born with that bad side, but they have Jesus in their heart now, so they better make sure that they're perfect at all times every day. And so in doing that, you end up pushing the shadow to the back, and it comes out in times whenever you can't handle it, out of your control, because it leaks out, because you're trying to hide it, and then it leaks out, and then everybody has permission to make fun of you, to shun you, to destroy you emotionally and psychologically, but not physically. So that's just how Christianity is. That's just what being a Christian is all about. So this was so much different than being a Christian. This was being like, hey, I'm a bitch. I don't have to always be a bitch, but I can choose to be a bitch. And I just want you to know that while I'm being nice and kind to you. And then whenever, if something happens where I have to be a bitch and you're like, you're a bitch, it's so much different. In Christianity, whenever it's, you're a bitch, it's like, oh no, shame, guilt, shun me, emotionally and psychologically destroy me, and just put it on me because I deserve it. And you know what? I'll even do it. I'll shun my own self. I'll guilt my own self. I'll shame my own self because I should have known better than to let that leak out. Whereas now it's like, you're a bitch. Yeah, sure am. It's one of the things I am. So, way different. And moving into serious joy, which I love and adore serious joy. It just pulled me. It pulled me in. I resisted it because it was tropical astrology and that's all demons. But I think that it happened right after my chakra healing on purpose because, like, yeah, I think I wouldn't have gone into the astrology if it wasn't for, but look at what the chakra healing has really done for you. And, another thing is working with this chakra healing. Before all this happened, my spirituality, I still have it. I still have my love for God. I still have my love for Jesus. Like, I still have my love for people. I have my love for spirit and physical. I love it all. Like, physical is the densest manifestation of the spiritual. Trust me, guys, I know this for a fact now. Physical is the densest part of the spiritual. It's all spiritual. All of it. All of it. It's so awesome. But, yeah, I moved into astrology, the big bad demon evil astrology, and he was just with Sensei. Christopher Witecki is the leader of Serious Joy, and he has these daily pep talks, and it's just so in line. And the way that my mind works, it like puts colors with numbers and personalities with numbers. And I think I remember telling you guys as a child I was a number genius and I really didn't have to try. The numbers tell me what the answers are. And I just love writing out quadratic formulas and all that stuff. And, I didn't learn numbers at school. I learned them because I had a love for numbers, and I got math books before the school was even teaching me the subjects. So, yeah, and his step system lines up with everything that I know about numbers. In fact, even to the color that the numbers are. And that is it was just amazing to me. And so it caused me to want to study astrology, and I decided, gosh, I did never do the rewind. See how I'm so crazy with this stuff. I decided, because the way that he has it set up so much, and it aligned with my soul so much that I couldn't deny it. I couldn't be like, this is demonic. And plus, guys, remember, whenever I was really into Christianity, I was getting demons cast out of me. I got demons cast out of me in North Carolina, and I got demons cast out of me in Arizona, and I got demons cast out of me in my hometown. And I even was like trying to cast demons out of my own self whenever I was living in that hell place. And at this point in my spirituality, like, I'm walking and talking with Yeshua every single day. He's with me, guys. He's with me. And he was like, if you will have faith in me, I will keep the demons away from you. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just have faith in you to keep the demons away. And sure enough, I mean, there's times whenever, like, I'm a spiritual medium, and I don't know that I'm a spiritual medium. I've always been a spiritual medium. There's times whenever I see spirits, and some spirits, because it's because of what they mostly have embodied, if that makes sense. That it's not like good or evil, but it's like some spirits are so loveless that they exude fear. And I'm also very empathic, and I'm empathic to even spirits. So yeah, it's like I could feel the fear off them at times. And Yeshua now is showing me how to truly, I don't want to say exorcise demons, because at this point in my life, it's whenever I realized, oh, what the Catholic Church is doing is exorcising demons. Like, I was able to watch an exorcism with my spiritual eyes. Literally, this priest was going in there and exorcising the what happens whenever you exercise? You get stronger, right? You get weaker for a minute, and then you come back stronger. They're exorcising the demons. They're giving the demons exercise. Like, literally, the demon like wouldn't have been able to whoop 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 if it wasn't for the priest coming up. It wasn't a get out. It was a oh, I'm exhausted. And now the person was able to come up, and the demon was exhausted with the exercise, and then I guarantee it probably comes right back, you know. Of course, Jesus talks about that too. It's like he comes back to a swept up house. Oh goodness. So Jesus was showing me how to have faith in him to keep the demons away, and then Jesus tells me to do these demonic things. So yeah, if you're a Christian, I'm following the Antichrist, but from what I can see and from my experiences, that's what y'all do. So, you know, we can go buy fruit if you want to go buy fruit if you want. I don't have the best fruit either. I'm not that great at making great fruit. I'm working on it. Oh gosh, I think it's the God within me that will let that happen. So I'm working on allowing God within me to let that happen. Anyways, so I was starting to get into all kinds of self-help stuff, all kinds of stuff. And one group that I was really, really pulled to, and it just felt like these are my people, or I have a purpose with these people. I don't know what it is. The leader guy, first of all, let me say, I don't want to be rude here. I have a love in my heart for everybody, okay? I have love in my heart for everybody, and that shouldn't mean shiz to anybody, honestly, because I love the lowest of the lows in humanity. I love them. But this guy is not a guy that I would normally watch. He's like cocky. I felt like he's pulling to him the people that are my people, if that makes sense. But okay, so I'm going to say his name. He's not a bad guy, guys. He's not a bad guy. He's actually a really good guy. I've gotten to know him over the years, and that's pretty cool. But he lives far away from me, and yeah, so Pete Sapper with Empath Uprising. And it's strange to me because it's not somebody I would normally want to follow, but it's like my spirit was pulled to these people, and I wasn't quite sure why. And back then it was Empath Uprising, and he was talking about how empaths are they're not supposed to be these wimpy people. We're supposed to be strong, and like everybody in this group talks about narcissist this, narcissist that. My ex is a narcissist. Oh, my ex is a narcissist, and my ex is a narcissist, and I'm like, what's a narcissist? And that's whenever it got me really looking into it, and I learned what a narcissist is, and that's whenever I realized my mom could be a narcissist, my ex Zach's probably a narcissist, and his mom is a narcissist, and there's different types of narcissists. So I was like studying them to figure out which ones fit, and which is so wrong. It's so wrong to do that, guys. I shouldn't diagnose my mom. I shouldn't diagnose Zach, and I should not diagnose his mom. It was so wrong of me to do that. But at the time, it was just, I was pulled into this group, this Empath Uprising group, and I love the people, but they would talk about the narcissist so much, I would be like, dang, because I was looking at it like, oh, well, here's the 3 narcissists in my life, and I'll just move on and deal with them. And I've already dealt with Zach at this point, and I felt like, I've overcome the narcissist in my life. I mean, that's what he was to me. He's not a narcissist. But to me, he was. The way that we're talking about it in this group, I have a narc in my life. Okay, I have a narc in my life, Because he would come in and it would feel like he would just stir things up and destroy things and leave, And yeah, so that's how I'm going to tie into the rewind that I need to do with Zach. Like, at this point, with Zach. We had gone to court. We'd gotten the protection order, and I was pretty certain that we were going to be going to criminal court before too long, because basically, whenever my daughter posted it on social media and posted her conversation with him and how he basically admitted it, other girls, other little girls, basically, whenever my girls were younger and they were going to his house, he had a girlfriend at the time for a while, and I liked her. She was a really good girl. We invited him and her kids over for a little barbecue eat thing once, and I liked her. My friend Jerica was like, "Why do you like her?" I'm like, "Because I just do." And she's like, "We shouldn't, but I don't know. She was a good girl." Her daughter, she had a daughter. She stood up and said that he also touched her. Another girl stood up and said that, multiple girls claimed. So now it's not just me. It's not just my daughter. And plus, at the time, y'all remember, I didn't know it was both of my daughters until we were in court. It was court that I figured out it was both the daughters. Up until then, which I feel like was another saving grace by God. I think God blinded me to the fact that it was both daughters. That way we could overcome the parental alienation lie. Because how else could we overcome that parental alienation lie? I mean, shoot, people were posting that parental alienation is the worst type of abuse, which means it's better for a child to go to a child molester than to be alienated from them. That's what y'all believed with parental alienation. And I know still parental alienation is a real thing, but y'all need to figure out a different term. Y'all need to figure out a different way. That is something that child abusers use to gain custody. So, yeah, oh my goodness, I can even show you how the beginning of parental alienation was from a guy that molested his children. Anyway, yeah, multiple girls stood up and we talked to the state police. I took my daughters to talk to the state police. I took my daughters to an advocacy center, and there was times whenever we would go to this advocacy center and his ex would be there with her daughter and then the other moms with their daughters, and we would be like talking about it, and like everybody knows that that's who he is now, which is why I don't mind telling my story, and I don't feel like I'm defaming anybody's character at this point, because it's already happened. Like, God showed me. It didn't matter if my story was told or not, as far as revenge or him getting what he deserves or anything like that. Like, that's gonna happen. My telling my story is separate from that. And my life is separate from that. And it's not my revenge to get. It's my healing to heal. And that's what telling my story is. It's about my healing, not his revenge. But he very well could, sue me. And that's why I've tried to have a lot of disclaimers in here about how it is false. This is fictional, I'm not trying to defame anyone here, So, whatever. I'm really not. I'm trying to heal. My goal is healing. And, just that right there could be brought up in court later. What I said right there, it could be like, she said it's fictional, but then she said this little snippet right here. And hopefully it's about my healing. It's not about defaming anyone. I don't know. You never know what a court's going to think or believe. You just never know. They're scary and insane. But Yeshua said, don't worry about what you're going to say in court. Just trust and have faith. So that's what I do. I've learned to just trust and have faith. Every time I've worried about court, it turned out bad. Every time I don't worry and I just show up and I say what needs to be said, it turns out good for me. So I think, Jesus knew what he was saying whenever he said, don't worry about what you're going to say whenever you go to court. So, yeah, I wanted to put that in there, that it wasn't only my children. It wasn't just my children. It was other children that stood up. And that's part of why whenever I was leaving court, he was like, you'll never get another dime from me from child support. And I was thinking, yeah, no crap, dude. Next is criminal court. And I was wrong. I was wrong, 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 wrong. It was not criminal court next. And what was coming up next was child support court. I didn't know he was taking me to child support court. That one was the funny one, where he literally took me to court, asked for it to be lowered just for the judge to find out he's not even paying the minimum. So the judge raised it to the minimum and then reinstated my arrears, which is what I wanted. I don't want the money. He can die owing me money. I don't care. Just the arrears kept him off my back. And at this point, I didn't even care. Like, what would be the point of even wanting the arrears at this point? I don't care. I don't know. I think I want justice. I think I don't even want justice. I want healing. I want my daughter to be able to heal and move on with her life and to be a great person because that's who she is, not because of what was done to her. I want my other daughter to be able to heal and live a great life. I want all of the girls to be able to heal and live a great life because that's who they are, not because of what he did to them. And I really don't want him, because him and his mother, they really do think that they did it for the best. Like, they did it for the best. I really don't want them to think that that was for the best. I want humans to know that that is not right, that it was a setback, that healing had to be done. Whenever healing has to be done, it's a setback. And that they rise and they make something out of themselves anyway because that's who they are. Because they're awesome people, not because of the crap that you did to them. That's the only thing I care about with that. But yeah, I just wanted to rewind and put that in there. But we went to child support court, and then Zach left. We did have, there was, I don't know if there was even a criminal court. We talked to state police. We talked to the local police where he lived, the local police where we live. That we talked to, all the girls. He left. He became missing. Nobody could find him. He was gone. We found him because he admitted to us where he was at. He's still, we'll text my daughter and be like, please talk to me. I'm your dad. And found out that he moved up north. He was living in North Dakota. And he was going to church, and like on his social media, he just posts about God and the Bible all day, every day. And he was running a youth group, and I wanted to call him so bad and be like, he's a child molester. You got a child molester running your youth group. But I felt like it wasn't my spot. Maybe it was. I don't know. He's not there no more. He's taken off. He won't stay in one spot. So I was wrong. Criminal court never showed up. It's still to this day has never showed up. He still will hop, jump, move all around. I don't know where he's at no more. I found out where he was at the beginning. Now I don't know where he's at. He could be anywhere. I don't know. And so that's the end of Zach. I like to end it there. With that, I don't really focus on the narcs in my life. I just identified who they are, realized how that I take care of them. I'm probably the narc in some people's life, because let me tell you, like I said earlier, I'll be a bitch. I can be a controlling bitch. So, for real, I don't look at it the same way that all the other empaths do. I do think I'm an empath, maybe. I don't know. I don't know about labels either. I don't know what it is. But I am over time. I've taken way too much of your time. I thank you guys so much for listening and for being a part. Thank you so much for being here. You made it to the end. You're pretty awesome. And yeah, I think I've wrapped up the Zach story. Because now he's no longer a part of our life. We're moving on. We're making better. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and being a part today. And I'll see you on the next one. Until then, be blessed with love. As we wrap up this incredible journey together, I want to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you. Your energy, your love, and your support have made this My Story series truly magical. And before we part ways, I want to take a moment to thank you for spending your precious time with me. Your comments, likes, and shares have warmed my heart, and I'm endlessly grateful for the connections that we've built. Remember, your energy has created a unique and beautiful community here at the Mystic Hillbilly. Now, as we venture forward, I feel it's essential to address something crucial. Unfortunately, the online world isn't always filled with positive vibes. There are scammers out there who may misuse my pictures and pretend to be me. Please be cautious. I will never reach out to you first. The only way to get a reading from me is by reaching out to my official email or website. If someone contacts you claiming to be me, it's more than likely a scam. I would never ask you to pay for a reading in that way. Remember, I believe in truth, integrity, and the law of attraction. If you're meant to receive guidance from me, the universe will guide you to me and not the other way around. Trust the process and let your intuition be your guide. And before we say our goodbyes, I'd like to humbly ask you for your support. As a new YouTuber, every bit counts. If you've enjoyed our time together, consider donating. The links are in the description. And for just $2 a month, you can unlock exclusive content on my Patreon, including Mystic Message outtakes, full moon and new moon card readings, and a 40-day transformation challenge. Your support would mean the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. Love, love, and more love to each of you. Let's stay connected in the cosmic dance that we call life. Until we meet again, stay blessed, protected, and full of positive vibes. That's all she got.